Women's final seeing Palesa and Randy taking on Sheena and Dika, both pairings with rather easy victories going into the final from their semi-final positions. As far as the men's final is concerned, Clinton Freedom against Ricky and Ivan. Lots of competition there, much more competition for Ricky and Ivan in their semi-final, but eventually making it through to meet Clinton and Freedom. So the women's final then, Sheena Abrams and Dika Hessels against Palesa Sekonyana and Randy Williams. The Palesa and Randy combination, the favourites perhaps for the title. Palesa and Randy beating Mira and Karina 21-9, 21-14 in their semi-final. Sheena Dika beating Kristen and Liesel 21-17 and 15 in their respective semi-final. Perhaps a little easier passage for the favourites Palesa and Randy. Dika Hessels on serve, opening point of the final of the women's competition, and a bit of a fortunate net cord perhaps there for Randy Williams.
Good float serve on to Sheena. Up she goes, deep and raw.
First point of the match going to Sekonyana and Williams, and another little touch over the net coming from Randy Williams as the favourites go 2-0 up early on.
Randy and Palesa doing very well.
Randy Williams on serve with a ponytail deep over the back of the court, presenting the first point of the final to Sheena and Dika. Sheena on serve now. Palesa setting up for Randy. Strong spike down the middle of the court. Good recovery from Dika and Sheena, but unfortunately Sheena not able to make it count.
What has defined them from the other teams.
So Palesa Sekonyana continuing on serve. Dika to Sheena, finding space at the back of the court for the Sheena-Dika combination. Pretty tight fought affair in the opening couple of points. Another spike to the back of the court from Randy Williams. Finds the sand for the favourites. Williams was back on serve, and this time she dinks it just over the net, and Sheena and Dika not able to make up the ground to keep that in play. First change of ends comes with Palesa and Randy leading by 5-2. Sheena with a spike down the middle and pulling back a valuable point for Sheena and Dika. Now Sheena Abrams was on serve, nicely set up by Randy Williams. Williams again with a spike down the line. Good recovery from Dika Hessels, and then the net caught. Good pickup from Sheena Abrams, and likewise as Palesa looks for some sand and finds it as well just over the net to stretch out their advantage to 6-3. Sheena Abrams going down the line and finding sand for their combination. Dika Hessels now on serve as she goes too deep and provides an easy point for Palesa Sekonyana and Randy Williams. So Randy Williams on serve, she goes down the line as well and finds sand there to the left-hand side of Sheena Abrams. Stretching out to 8-4 in the first set of the women's final. Dika Hessels into the net. And that provides a little bit more impetus for Palesa and Randy. And again, another great serve down the middle from Randy Williams. Some recovery to be done by Sheena Abrams and Dika Hessels. So Randy Williams continues on serve. The set from Sekonyana. Williams, nice recovery from Sheena. And Sheena back on her feet quickly, looking for sand and finding it in front of Randy Williams. Never say die attitude from Sheena Abrams. Randy set for Palesa Sekonyana, and the point going to Sekonyana at the net. Sekonyana now on serve with a 5-point differential between the two pairings. Sheena Abrams down the line. Nice recovery from Randy Williams. Slight scramble from Dika Hessels. Williams again with a set for Palesa Sekonyana. Another nice dig from Sheena Abrams. And Abrams with a knuckleball. But Randy Williams wasn't going anywhere. And, well, that was a great block by Sheena Abrams, who's not the tallest of players.
2, 3, 1, go!
Hessels. The set for Randy Williams. She goes down the line. Dika with a recovery, and then into the net from Palesa and Randy.
crowd as well, so you got to be in the stands to win it.
Net cord off the serve of Dika.
He's got some peaks in that, but you need to go.
Palesa with a spike and successfully finding sand as well inside the court for Palesa and Randy. Randy now on serve.
Keeping the sun out of the eyes.
Dika down the middle. Unfortunately, blazing the ball over the back of the court. The tall lass is Dika Hessels, but she does manage to get down into some very good positions on the sand, and unfortunately not on that occasion as Palesa and Randy go down the line. Serving on a set point, it is Sheena Abrams, and a great play from Randy Williams will give the first set to Palesa Sekonyana, and Randy Williams 21 points to 14.
So the players will come out now after a minute's break.
The officials and some of the spectators, competitors from earlier matches, are getting a good taste of the sunshine, and into the second set with Palesa Sekonyana and Randy Williams leading by 15 to 13, and an uncustomary mistake there from Sheena Abrams, giving Sekonyana and Williams another point. Sheena onto Dika. Sheena goes down the line. Nice recovery from Randy. And Randy again benefiting straight down the middle of the court for the favourites. It's 4 points away from a two-set victory over Sheena and Dika is Palesa and Randy. And again, trying to fight hard for every single valuable point. In vain that time, Dika Hessels. Randy Williams down the middle. Abrams and the block from Palesa Sekonyana. Huge celebration for Palesa and Randy. Randy Williams on serve had been absolutely imperious throughout the course of the competition, and again good scrambling from Dika, and this time it works to good effect for the Sheena Dika combination. Was it too little, too late? Sheena Abrams carrying an injury on her right knee into the encounter, and it's pretty tough when you're playing on this sort of loose surface. But a good recovery from Dika, the spike across court from Sheena. Nice recovery from Palesa. And Palesa goes down the line to secure the point. A match point it is as well for Palesa Sekonyana Randy Williams combination.
Match point number 1.
Palesa Sekonyana on serve, goes shallow. The set from Dika. Sheena with the spike taking the net cord. Palesa sets it up for Randy, and she goes into the net. And one match point is saved by Sheena and Dika.
And Randy, Dika and Sheena live and love a laugh. Dika back with the serve.
Two sets of players change ends as Dika Hessel serves. 5 match points down. Ball set up for Randy Williams. Nice block by Sheena. And then into the net from Palesa Sekonyana, allowing Sheena and Dika to creep ever closer and maybe even try to force a final set. But it wasn't to be, as the serve from Sheena Abrams goes over the back of the court, and Palesa Sekonyana and Randy Williams win the women's final 21-14, 21-16. So Palesa, the victors of the inaugural Flying Fish Beach Volleyball competition on Durban's new beach. And they will each pick up 100 championship points. Don't forget that in women's beach volleyball and men's beach volleyball, it is individuals that pick up the points, not the combinations. So Palesa and Randy both picking up 100 points. Sheena and Dika in third spot. Karina and Mira losing semi-finalists and losing the third and fourth place playoff as well, with 45 points apiece. The final of the men's beach volleyball competition set Ricky Stevens and Ivan Solomons up against Clinton Stemmet and Freedom Chia. It would be Ricky Stevens with the red bandana who would have the first opportunity to provide a serve, and a good recovery from Stevens. Unfortunately, Solomon's not across to be able to keep it in play. Freedom Chia with a great spike across court for one of the favourites for the overall title. Freedom Chia then on serve for Clinton and Freedom combination, and a big scramble across to Clinton. Freedom down the line. Ricky setting it up for Ivan, and the touch on the net. It's a good recovery there from Clinton, and to the back of the court. Good play between Freedom and Clinton, but the points were level at 1 apiece as that shot went long. Good play down the line from Clinton and Freedom. Ivan Solomons at full stretch.
Clinton spoons it out.
Once again, Clinton doing great work at the net for Clinton and Freedom. This time set up for Freedom Chia as he goes down the line. Scores now in favour of Stevens and Solomons, 3-2. Good block at the net from Ivan Solomons. But the ball going out of play. The scores level at 3-all in what was to turn out to be a very, very hard-fought first set. It went into the tiebreaker. Well, that was a long way from where we are right now.
All part of the Flying Fish Beach Volleyball Series.
Fans loving the sunshine, loving the action in the women's final as well as the men's final. Clinton Freedom against Ricky and Ivan. Clinton on serve. Ricky with a little dink, goes across court, set up by Clinton for Freedom. Nice recovery from Ricky. And Ricky looking for space at the back of the court. And going long. Ricky and Ivan leading by 15-14. And again, Ricky looking for the net and the block at the net there by Clinton Stemmet. But Stevens and Solomons had taken advantage as the ball had drifted off the side of the court. This time, though, Clinton finding space between Ricky and Ivan. And again, creeping ever closer to that lead by Ricky and Ivan. Strong play through the middle. Nice recovery from Ivan. Ivan at the net. Good block there by Clinton Stemmet. And the scores were level at 16 apiece.
16 each year in this first set.
So the first set really going down to the wire, and a rather curious looking recovery shot from Ricky Stevens, giving Clinton and Freedom the lead for almost the first time in the first set. However, a nice recovery from Ricky Stevens, a good spike down the middle of the court, too hot to handle for Freedom Chia, and we were level at 17 points apiece. Clinton set up for Freedom. And Freedom really knows his way around the beach volleyball courts. 35 points and a change of ends once again, with Clinton Stemmet and Freedom Chia leading by just a solitary point and looking for the first set. Served by Clinton Stemmet. Set up again from the right-hand side by Ricky Stevens. Stemmet goes down the line, but it's gone off the side of the court, and disappointment for Clinton and Freedom. 18 points apiece. A set that would eventually go into a tiebreaker. First to 20 and to lead by 2. A set point for Chia and Stemmet. Averted for the moment by Ricky and Ivan. 19 points apiece. Strong drive across the court by Freedom Chia. So Chia and Stemmet on a set point.
Rolls it onto Freedom. Can they convert for the game?
Nicely kept in play and trying to dink it over the net, but problems for Stemmet and Chia. They found themselves just a little bit disorganized momentarily. Now Freedom Chia trying to find the way through. Nice little knuckleball from Ivan Solomons. Great battle for possession. Solomons strong at the net with a block, and the set would go into overtime. Ricky Stevens on serve, set up for Clinton Stemmet. Again, the block at the net comes from Ivan Solomons, setting up a set piece for the combination of Ricky and Ivan. Ricky goes shallow. And again, there's a block at the net from Ivan Solomons. He was absolutely imperious towards the latter stages of the first set. And it is Ricky and Ivan who wrap up the first set, 22-20. Well-earned break as well after a rather torrid first set. It went in favour of Ricky Stevens and Ivan Solomons, but into the second set, and there was a much more impressive performance from Clinton Stemmet and Freedom Chia. Freedom Chia, however, did pick up an injury later on in the match. It would hamper his progress and eventually prove to be decisive as far as the match was concerned. Rather tame-looking save from Ivan Solomons, and Clinton and Freedom able to stretch their advantage away to 12-6 in the second set, looking to get back on level terms at set apiece. Still some way to go though, and a strong spike from Ricky Stevens down the middle gives them a valuable point. Nice little dink over the net as well from the Clinton-Freedom combination, and that was where the injury came to the right knee of Freedom Chia, who did come onto the court with strapping to both the left knee and to the right knee. It's an injury that he has carried into the tournament, and I remember Freedom Chia having problems with that injury towards the latter stages of the international tournament in 2013. Ricky at the net for the Freedom defense. Again, Ricky, strong combination though. Ricky again struggling to make it 3 in a row as Clint Stammet grabs the point for Clinton and Freedom. Trying to stretch away and get the match level at a set apiece, but the across-court short play from Ricky Stevens is imperious for Ricky Stevens. Stevens on serve now. Clinton Stammet looking for some sand and finds it as the ball deflects away off the arms of Ivan Solomons. Clinton and Freedom 1 point closer to the second set that they would eventually grab by 21 points to 12. Quite an emphatic victory in the second set it was as well. But Ricky and Ivan weren't giving it away too easily. Clinton on serve. Ivan with a little dink. But again, the ball falls outside of the court, and with the players swapping ends, it was Clinton and Freedom leading over Ricky and Ivan by 18 points to 10. Still it's Clinton on serve. First time spike by Ivan, not finding any sand. Ivan goes deep this time. It's 2 points away from the second set now. Clinton and Freedom. Ivan setting up for Ricky, and it's a good ball. Lovely recovery from Clinton. Freedom struggling to keep it in court. Now Ricky with a knuckle ball and finds the sand just in front of the despairing dive.
I think he deserves a cap, guys. What do you say? He does. There we go. Freedom.
Freedom Chia with a spike. And a good block at the net from Clinton Stammet.
Came over, he's got a tie break. They want the set onto Freedom. Clinton goes on to, well,
Ricky and Ivan not prepared to give anything away, but unfortunately the pressure was starting to count from Clinton and Freedom. And serving on the set point is Freedom Chia. Ivan trying to make it count for Ricky and Ivan, but unfortunately the ball deflecting away and out of court from the hands of Clinton and Freedom. See a bit of an injury problem for Freedom Chia, and having to stretch out on the far side of the court, receiving medical attention, not for the first time in the men's final, but eventually with his thigh strapped he would be able to continue. Set all then, 22-20 to Ricky and Ivan, 21-12 to Clinton and Freedom, and with the points level at 6-all now, stretching away to 7-6 to Ricky and Ivan. It was really game on in the men's final on New Beach in Durban. Ricky setting up to Ivan, the ball drifting over the net, and then back into play from Clinton Stammet, deep from Ricky. Freedom Chia finding sand for the Clinton Freedom combination, and the final set was tied at 7 points apiece. Just to remind you that the first 2 sets are played to 21 points and to lead by 2. The final set to 15 and to lead by 2. And another spike down the line from the Clinton and Freedom combination gave Clinton Stammet and Freedom Chia an 8-7 advantage. One seemed to be picking up just behind the serve of Ricky and Ivan. And Ricky going straight down the middle of the court. There'd be a brave scramble from Freedom Chia, and he kept it in play rather nicely as well. Stammet going deep. And Ivan on the spike into the hands of the Clinton Freedom combination. Wonderful recovery, great point all around. And Clinton and Freedom stretch their lead to 9 points to 7. Despite the injury to Freedom, Chia is really putting up a brave performance in the men's final. But that's a great spike down the center of the court from Ivan Solomons. Just 1 point in the final set now. Clinton Stemmet going across court and grabs the point for their combination. Now on serve, Freedom Chia. The set for Ricky Stevens down the middle of the court from the bandana-born, dreadlocked Ricky Stevens.
Captain Jack onto
Still anybody's match in the final set. Another strong spike from Clinton Stemmet. And suddenly there's a 2-point advantage for Clinton Stemmet, Freedom Chia combination. Things looking pretty good. Just to remind you that the final set, the first to 15 and to lead by 2. The pressure on the Ricky and Ivan combination. But Ricky from the right-hand court looking for some sand and finds it off the block of Clinton and Freedom. Now the serve from Ivan Solomons. Nice recovery from Ivan Solomons, dinked over the top by Ricky Stevens. Freedom Chia at the net, looking to go down the middle. Solomons trying to do the same. Again set up for Stemmet, and it's a good block at the net from Ivan Solomons as the final is tied up at 11 points apiece. Again on serve is the lanky Ivan Solomons, and that's a tremendous block by Ricky Stevens, one-on-one at the net with Freedom Chia. (12-11) to Ricky and Ivan. The first time they'd been in front for some little while. Great recovery from Ricky, and Ricky goes to the back of the court. Back from Freedom Chia. Chia again with the fist poke, but going over the back of the court, and suddenly Ricky and Ivan with a 2-point advantage. Just an element of desperation creeping into the game of Clinton and Freedom. And another point that goes long. And Ricky and Ivan on a match point. Ivan Solomon serving from the left-hand court, goes deep. Set up for Freedom Chia. And too hot to handle before the server, Ivan Solomons, as Clinton and Freedom try to keep themselves in contention for the 100 points and, of course, the prize money to come in this match as well. But it wasn't to be for Clinton and Freedom as Ricky gets the final spike of the match. It was a pretty tight run thing at the end of the day. 22-20, 12-21 and 15-12. The winners of the men's competition, Ricky Stevens and Ivan Solomons. And great joy all around for the pairing. So a full haul of points for Ivan and Ricky, 100 points apiece. Just to remind you that the points are allocated per individual player, just in case the players decide to take on another partner. Freedom Chia and Clinton Stemmet in third place. Colin Pocock and Sean Hayes losing in the losers final. They are in 7th position. To the victors go the spoils and the prize money. 70,000 Rand available in prize money over the course of every single one of the competitions, and well deserved as well.
I think our first match was a bit rocky, but every single game, you know, we upped our game and we played really, really well. In the final, you know, Randy and Palesa, they outplayed us and they played just phenomenal volleyball.
We played a nice composed game. We went out there, we had a good structure, we had a plan, and we stuck to it, and we came up tops. It was fun. We had the wind as well, was a bit up, so we knew that if we put pressure on our services and the way we played, then we'd go forth. So yeah, we won it.
So congratulations to Palesa and Randy, winners of the first in the series of 8 on Durban's New Beach. The men were up next with Ricky and Ivan.
Actually felt fun after a long time to come back and actually beat everybody. And also, Ivan's a lone player, so what's exciting is you don't know who I'm going to be playing with at the next tournament, so it's definitely going to be something to watch out for, and I'm definitely coming out fighting at the next one as well. As far as the game was concerned, we knew all we had to do was just push a little bit to get them to get tired, because it has been a tiring tournament.
As far as it's been a great event, players have enjoyed themselves, spectators have been fantastic, they've enjoyed themselves, and I think all around we've all had a fantastic time at the first leg of the Flying Fish Beach Volleyball Series.
I think this is a fantastic initiative. You know, it's 5 years, they know there's a series coming up, they've got 8 chances to really make a name for themselves and to make it happen. It's energetic, it's young, it's fun, it's just like flying fish, really, it is.
We had 80 athletes here, and we can see that we're going to grow at least with about 40-50% on registrations for the next event in Johannesburg, 15 to 17 August.
So don't forget to log on to www.beachvolleyballseries.co.za to enter for the next competition to be held at the Cresta Shopping Centre in Johannesburg from 15 to 17 August. This beach volleyball action was proudly brought to you by Flying Fish, premium flavoured beer.